My name is Aliana Martinez. I go to El Camino College and I am majoring in art/animation. In that aspect, I would like to talk about the question of what made me who I am today first. I hope the teacher doesn't mind that I'm going out of order, so to speak, but this is my very, very old DSi XL. It's a gaming system. It's for video games. But funnily enough, I almost never used it for that. I found this program a long time ago called Flipnote. It's this very, very basic, simplistic animation program that you can use on here. And I can't show you right now. I lost the charger a few months ago, so even if I wanted to, it wouldn't turn on. But this Flipnote program, it was the first introduction to animation I ever had as an 11-year-old. And just being able to turn the things that I create, the drawings that I create, alive through animation. I think that was the thing that really sparked this passion in me. Without this little machine, I probably would have never even considered animation as a career path, as something that I want to do, as a hobby, just for my life, for the rest of my life. And I think this is what makes this this little item very special to me. And I think that you probably can guess that I'm also an artist. I think that's part of the package deal. If you're an animator, you're also probably an artist. And even before I started animating, I was always really, really into drawing. And I would always carry on these notebooks throughout school, throughout high school, throughout just anywhere I would go. I have many different notebooks. This is one of my more recent ones, so I'm using it as an example. But yeah, I would just draw whenever I could. I would just draw in class. I would draw in during recess, during breaks, etc. And these notebooks sure, they show a lot of who I am, but they also show people that I'm an artist, that it's my hobby. It's what I'm really, really into. And it always pinned me as the art kid. Just this notebook alone, and all my other notebooks, just kind of fill all of these categories of how it shaped who I am, how it exemplifies who I am, and how and what my hobbies are, and how other people see me, and how it also started a lot of conversations. A lot of my friends I've met because they were also the art kids in class, and through these notebooks we would bond. It's a very important item for me, to me, rather. And this is another notebook. However, this is a different notebook. It's not, I wouldn't put it in the categories of this sort of notebook. It's very interesting. It's very heavy, but actually if you look inside of it, you'll see it's full of different doodles, different pieces of paper that I would doodle on. I have a lot of ideas, at least I would like to think so, and I just doodle them everywhere. And so a while back I figured, what if I put them all in one place? So what resulted was this huge notebook of ideas. It's from on a surface level, a lot of people probably wouldn't think much of it. It's not even that good, all the stuff in it. They're very simplistic, so people might not be as impressed with it as my regular notebooks that I would carry around. But I think this represents a deeper part of me, because it's just essentially all of my ideas, all the things happening in my brain put into a physical storage system. And I think that just makes it all that more special, whether other people see it or not. And in terms of appearances and how people see me, I think another thing, I've already talked about the notebook, But I would also like to talk about two things, actually, and I'm wearing one of them on my head out of habit, but this is a tie. It's a very fancy one. And this is my duckbill hat. I bought it some time ago in Venice, but I would wear these a lot. I said would because after quarantine, you know, dressing up isn't as important, or you don't really have much of a reason to, but I would wear these, well, a variation of these two things always, and that kind of became a staple of my appearance, my fashion sense. It's obviously very quirky. I do not know a lot of people, especially young people, who wear ties as a hobby. I just collect ties. I just think they're neat. I hope you excuse the sudden, shift of camera angles, and I set my other camera lost battery, so I will have to film the rest of this on this camera. But anyway, yeah, I think these two items, my hat and my ties, they just kind of set me apart from other people, and they make me more memorable, which I think I like that, and it also just kind of shows that I have my own thing going on, and people get that kind of first impression of me, I hope, and so I've been told. Anyway, this is an interesting little item. It's actually a paperweight. You'll have to excuse that. I live right next to a fire station. Anyway, this is a paperweight, but inside of it is a 100% real preserved tarantula. It's been dead for many years. And this little thing kind of symbolizes my relationship and how I communicate with my mom. See, this used to be hers, and again, for many years, she had it, specifically in her office. She used to work at Mattel, and all these, fun toys and Barbies and such. I would just see this very, very interesting tarantula, and I always thought it was, the coolest thing in her office. I would always look for it whenever I'd come to visit. I'd always ask about it. Every once in a while I'd ask if I could keep it, And she lost her job a few years ago at Mattel. She has a better job now, so it's not a big deal, but she was cleaning out her office, and she found this, and she gave it to me because she remembered how much I would ask for it. And it also kind of exemplifies how much I love insects. I've always really, really liked insects, but most of all, it just reminds me of all those times, all those all those visits at Mattel, just being around her and just how close we were, and we still are. So I just think it's a nice sort of symbol of that. Two last things I would like to talk about. It's about my culture, specifically. From my mom's side, I am Russian, and from my dad's side, I'm a Spaniard from Spain. And I don't necessarily have cultural items, but I do have items that I bought from those countries. Whenever I visit, every once in a while, I try to bring something back, and I think that these are the ones that kind of exemplify my connection to the cultures. This is Cheburashka. It's that's the character this stuffed animal is based on. I bought it in Russia a few years back, and it's not necessarily, it's part of the pop culture, because Cheburashka is this sort of old TV show character, and he just became this kind of cultural phenomena, I guess I would say, kind of like how Winnie the Pooh is to us in the United States. And even though they don't really make the show anymore, Cheburashka is still on advertisements, still in, it's just everywhere. It's still, merchandise constantly being sold, etc. And Cheburashka is almost part of every single Russian's childhood. It was part of mine. So I just bought this little guy, and I think that even though I do have mixed feelings about Russia, I think that Cheburashka has gotta be the one thing that I have that kind of encompasses a big part of the culture in a few different ways, and it kind of just shows how my relationship with the culture is. As for Spain, I have this little necklace. Again, it's not even a cultural icon or anything. It's just a necklace of a metal fish. But it came from my grandma's village in Valencia Requena. It's this very small rural village. Rural village in Spain. And it's very quaint. There isn't any sort of big chain, big company stores there. Like, there isn't a McDonald's, there isn't a Burger King, there isn't a Walmart, nothing like that. Instead, a lot of it is just populated by these small businesses, these family stores. And one of my favorite ones I got to visit a few years ago. It's this small jewelry store, and the jewels are made by hand, and the store is run by these two sisters, and they are just really, really good at making these interesting necklaces. They make all sorts of little animals out of these flat pieces of metal, and I just thought this necklace specifically was really neat. It's of a fish, like I said, and so I bought it, and it's really fun. I love wearing it, and every time I wear it, I feel like I have a little part of my grandma's village with me. It even has the name in Spanish on the back. La Arponera is the name of the shop, and I just really, really love this necklace. I definitely have a better relationship with Spain than I do with Russia, and it's just really nostalgic for me. And that's it. I hope you enjoy, and may you have a good rest of the day.